The everlasting money machine, in my opinion, cannot defeat cyclicality or liquidity inflows and outflows. It's something you can't really escape. Because of its overwhelming power, assets will suffer if the Fed and other central banks must decrease liquidity at the conclusion of the cycle, as they nearly always do. The point is, though, that I don't think they'll provide us the opportunity to purchase an asset at 90% discount and grant us an additional $30 or 40 turns each time we visit the casino. I mean, the chance they've given us is hilarious. And you took it. And it produced a huge profit that changed people's lives. My greatest concern is that the darn thing might fall 40% and catch us all off guard while we're waiting for the final leg and not getting it. That is more of a fear. Not quite yet. And for that reason, I simply don't want to be kept out of the market. Many people worry about becoming ensnared in the market. I'm afraid about becoming stuck outside of the. This is the biggest money-making device ever given to humanity. Everyone, hold on a moment. Everyone knows that the cryptocurrency market is always active, but how can you pick the best newsletter for you when there are so many available? Bitcoinzilla is unique in that it is clear and simple. Whether you're an expert in cryptocurrency or completely new to it, we've created an experience that anyone can enjoy. Guess who watches over us now? The writer behind the best-selling book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki Roberto. We also want to take this chance to thank everyone who has put their trust in us. We read each and every review, even the nicest ones. It's cost-free. You can receive all fresh information for free if you subscribe today. Keep ahead of the trends rather than just following them. Get the fresh edge by subscribing to Bitcoinzilla right now. Raoul Pal shows why cryptocurrency is the biggest wealth-generating machine in today's video. Raoul shares with us his plan for surviving the upcoming market cycle. So let's go right into the video without wasting any time for whatever reason. The last cycle was stunted, and as a result, everyone has PTSD. Because of the 2020 antics in the FTX, it began earlier and with greater vigor. It had greater stunting. That's how I see it. And that took a lot of us off guard. If I had known better, what would I have done? No, in any case, I would not have sold a penny. I simply did not include it in my thesis. It's a long-term thesis of mine. Not because he fucking traded his stock, but rather because he didn't trade his stock. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world. Correct? I realize that most people will find this offensive, but the truth is that doing nothing is actually the best way to become wealthy. However, since we all live in the real world, we all want to cash in on our lifestyle choices and ensure that our efforts have been worthwhile. Okay, so, in my opinion, I'm just going to spend some time somewhere before the year ends. After taking a third off, I don't give a damn. Then I'll remove another portion if we experience a super cycle. However, I have no idea what to do with that cash. Really, there is nothing else I need to do, therefore let's just hope for a bear. The market and sit in cash. If it doesn't work out, God forbid, at least I'll be recognized. For this reason, you will be grateful to yourself in 7 years if you can resist the urge to try to do too much. I've carried out both. In 2017, I sold out. Secondly, imagine that your $1,000 has increased in value to $1 million. And you sell all of it while hitting the peak within 20% of the peak? That would be incredible. 90% collapse in the market. You're not going to return your $1,000,000. It is not possible for you. Notwithstanding the de-risking. Nobody is capable of that. In that instance, your allocation will be less than what you would have had. It's peculiar. The psychology of investing, especially in high-stakes games where a large portion of our net wealth is at stake for each of us. Investing psychology is particularly challenging. Thus, I'm not sure. In addition, we develop models in the macro investing tool GMI for all other timing-related tasks because to some degree the asset management company requires us to do so, but also for myself. I'm trying not to worry about the sound. Chairman Gary Gensler states that the approval of United States spot Ethereum exchange-traded funds will be contingent upon the issuer's prompt response to the Securities and Exchange Commission's remarks. According to Gensler's remarks, issuers are responsible for obtaining clearances, and the SEC won't take as long as some had anticipated to complete the process. 819 bits for submissions to offer spot Ethereum ETF on multiple U.S. exchanges were granted by the SEC on May 23rd. However, they are not allowed to begin trading until they have received the necessary S-1 registration statement approvals. According to Gensler, In a Reuters story published on June 6th, these registrants are self-motivated to be responsive to the comments they get, but it's really up to them how responsive they are. The remarks provided fresh context for Gensler's remarks made on CNBC just one day prior, in which he stated that the following measures would require some time. According to others, this indicates that the commission would take its time approving posts on the S1 forums. Though he has previously stated that the procedure may take weeks or months, Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Plakonis has projected the first week of July as his base case. Days before the first decision deadline, the SEC seems to shift its stance on the Ethereum ETF, although it has not yet provided an explanation. But Gensler implied to Reuters that Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF legal action from the previous year had an impact on the decision. Grayscale played a key role in the SEC's approval by successfully arguing in court that since the agency had granted Bitcoin futures ETF, there was no justification for rejecting spot Bitcoin ETF. Speaking to readers, Gensler claimed that Ethereum had a comparable situation and that the staff of the SEC had examined these Ethereum filings and noted the different correlations. The connections bear some resemblance to those found in the Bitcoin domain. What are your thoughts on the cycle's conclusion? To encourage people to consider it, this is the one topic about which I had to write a complete essay. During the previous round, I didn't sell anything since I didn't feel like it. All I wanted to do was purchase more compound. I've completed one cycle in the process of doing that twice. I've exchanged in many ways. What is your thought process as it comes to the end of the cycle? You're stepping up from the sidelines, staying in, and taking lifestyle chips off. Please provide me the thesis. Thus, this is very likely the most significant query of the day. First and foremost, you should never make the same mistake twice if you want to be a successful investor. The last time I was taken aback. 89,000 was my goal for Bitcoin. In fact, I had left places like Matic and other things. You kind of got most of the exits right, except for Solana and Bitcoin. It wasn't until it was too late that I realized what kind of antics were taking place behind the scenes. That was the issue as well. Nevertheless, I was able to deploy funds at the bottom, so nibbled, so waited, and then struck hard and with a lot of force when things really hit rock bottom. There I could apply for example. If you have a large amount of leverage, you can use it creatively to acquire Bitcoin on the spot through a platform like MicroStrategy. That was my choice, which I also publicized. The intriguing aspect of this cycle, which baffles me. I wanted to avoid repeating the same error first and foremost. Thus, I deliberately decided to give a group of developers over 7 figures to create tools that will enable us to locate the summits. I don't want to miss this shirt. That was my initial thought. Second, in order to scale out, we are now developing a set of profit-taking rotation optimization models. And here's the really intriguing part: when you figure out the math, see 20% of your bag's layers rising to your highest price goal. At the end of the day, if you anticipate that prices will reach all-time highs, even if you deduct 20% of your bag or 20% of your cent of the dollar worth. The arithmetic involved in profit-taking is fascinating. People are eager to try timing the precise peak. All right, Bitcoin will reach 150. I plan to sell it for $149. That's an ineffective tactic. And this is where the wild card comes in, which also baffles my little brain. What occurs if the Bitcoin ETF and perpetual bid are obtained? Those are the gold prices that GLD maintained for 8 years, notwithstanding a financial crisis. A lot of people are curious as to why the price of Bitcoin hasn't surpassed its all-time high of $73,679, which was reached in March, even though the US-based spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds have seen record inflows for 19 straight days. Analysts claim to know the solution. According to Aho BL15 Capital,